on Talk of Alabama. This time of year can be a busy one. You have football season, everybody's excited about. You have school getting into full swing. You have sports and events with your students. There are a lot of people on the road. This morning, we're hearing from attorney Craig Shirley from Hollis, Wright & Clay. Good morning, Craig. How's it going?
Hey, good morning, Catherine. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. We know, busy time of year for a lot of people on the road. If you've driven down to the beach lately on I-65, you know everybody's on I-65 on the weekend.
That is the truth.
Nobody wants to get into a car accident, but they do happen. So if the worst does happen, what should people do immediately after that?
Well, Catherine, like you said, I mean, car accidents are unfortunately inevitable. What we're seeing is that, in Alabama at least, nearly every 3 minutes there's an accident. So immediately after an accident, the first and foremost thing to do is to ensure that you tend to any injuries that you may have or any injuries that your passengers may have, right? And then once you've kind of evaluated that situation, the next thing to do is to call 911. And when the officers and the paramedics arrive, make sure that they tend to any injuries that you or your passengers have as well. Another important thing is that then once it's safe to do so, kind of document the scene, right? Take pictures of the scene, the vehicles involved in the collision, and then exchange information with the other driver. Get their name and contact information, get their insurance company's name, get their insurance policy information, and then finally call an attorney. Because nearly all of the time, which is important to remember, we're dealing with large insurance companies rather than the actual individual driver themselves. And so what we can do is help ensure that not only are you adequately represented, but that in dealing with these difficult and frustrating insurance companies at times, that we maximize the compensation, the amount of money that you're entitled to as a result of any injuries or damages that you sustain.
What would you say in a situation where somebody, maybe it's not a terrible wreck, but there's still some damage there, and somebody's saying, we don't need to call the lawyer, we don't need to call the insurance company, this isn't that big of a deal. What would you say to somebody?
I would say err on the side of caution, call an attorney, right? Because you never know what may shake out or what may happen. We see it all the time where clients get into accidents that they would consider minor or not significant, and immediately they may not be in pain or may not be experiencing any symptoms or injuries, but 2, 3, 4 days down the road they start experiencing that pain, that injury. So it's always important to call an attorney. If you are in pain or have any injuries, go seek medical treatment, because like you said, you never know what's going to shake out, and what you may think is a minor accident or collision could be more down the road.
Certainly, and there's a certain level of shock if you are involved in a car wreck too, that you don't quite know if you are hurt, if it's not a serious injury, and so it may take some time to really realize that. So going ahead and calling and making sure you have that set up in case something does develop.
Absolutely.
What do you all see as the main cause of accidents?
Well, many of these accidents are caused by negligent driving, which could be a whole array of things, but it could be distracted driving, drinking and driving, drowsy driving, excessive speed, you name it, right? Many of these accidents are caused by a negligent driver, and what we do is we ensure that victims who receive injuries as a result of that negligent driving are adequately and fairly represented, and that we maximize the recovery for any damages or injuries that they sustain. But almost all the time that these accidents occur, there's some level of negligent driving going on, whether it's distracted driving, drinking and driving, texting, talking on the phone, you name it.
Certainly. What do you do if the at-fault driver doesn't have insurance? What happens then?
And Catherine, that's a great question, and I would argue sometimes more importantly in that situation is to call an attorney, because unfortunately, while automobile insurance is mandated by law, what the research shows is that nearly 20% of all Alabamians still do not have automobile insurance. So it's important that on your own policy that you have what's called uninsured motorist coverage. And most people don't know what that is. So let's say, for instance, that you're involved in a collision, the other party's at fault, but they do not have insurance coverage to cover your injuries and damages. So what do? Well, if you have the uninsured motorist coverage on your own policy, it's sort of a fail-safe. It allows you to make a claim under your own policy, under that coverage, for your injuries and damages, to make sure that you're still protected and can still be adequately compensated for your injuries and damages that are caused by that uninsured at-fault driver.
Certainly, Craig, some good advice this morning. And of course, where can people go for more information?
Well, they can reach us in a number of ways. You can call us at 844-LAW-TALK. You can reach at the office at 205-324-3600. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to us for a free consultation. Because remember, asking questions about your accident or your injuries or anything that you have going on, it's free and it's not going to cost you a dime. And even in the event that we do agree to represent you and represent you further in your claim and on behalf of your injuries, we don't get paid unless we recover money for you. So again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are always here, always willing to help, and we look forward to talking with you.
Craig Shirley from Hollis, Wright & Clay. Thank you so much for joining us, Craig.
Thank you, Catherine.